The assessment cycle is a systemic course of events which can be applied to both academic and vocational activities. The cycle typically continues until all aspects of the criteria and the qualification have been achieved by the learner. So initial assessment is assessing information regarding your learners. So for example, any specific assessment requirements that may have or any further training and support that may be needed. So this information can be obtained in a range of ways. So for example, application forms, interviews, diagnostic tests and discussions. This process might not always be carried out by you, but the information obtained must be passed on to you. Initial assessment is also known as the assessment for learning because it helps to prepare learners for assessment and identifies their potential. Assessment planning, agreeing suitable types and methods of assessment with learners, setting appropriate target dates and involving others as necessary, such as your colleagues, witnesses or workplace supervisors. Assessment activity using relevant approaches and activities, for example, observation, questioning, assignments or gathering appropriate evidence of competence. Assessment can be formative, so it's usually ongoing, and informal to check progress, such as a discussion, or it can be summative, usually at the end of a formal test. So summative assessment is often known as an assessment of learning because it counts towards the achievement of something. Reviewing of progress. So review progress and achievement and discuss any other issues that may be relevant to the learning and assessment process. So assessment decision and feedback. So making a judgment of success or otherwise, or allocating a grade and advising how to achieve a higher grade in the future. Providing constructive and developmental feedback and agreeing upon any further action that may be necessary. The cycle can then begin again with an initial assessment regarding the next area to be assessed. Records should be maintained throughout all aspects of the assessment cycle, and quality assurance activities should take place on an ongoing basis. Then you have principles. So principles are how the assessment process is put into practice. So for example, they need to be ethical, the methods used are right and proper for what is being assessed, and the context of the assessment. You need to consider the learner's welfare, health and safety and security are not compromised. You've got safe, says the learner's work can be confirmed as valid and authentic. There should be little chance of plagiarism. Confidentiality of information should be taken into account, and learning and assessment should not be compromised in any way, nor the learner's experience or potential to achieve. Safe in this context does not relate to health and safety, but to whether the assessment methods are sufficiently robust to make a reliable decision. Then we have fair. The methods used are appropriate to all learners at the required level, taking into account any particular needs. All learners should have an equal chance of an accurate assessment decision. Then you've got two more important principles which are known as VARCs and SMART. So VARCs, which stands for valid, authentic, reliable, current and sufficient. So is the work relevant to what is being assessed and is it at the right level? Authentic, the work has been produced solely by the learner. You've got reliable, the work is consistent over time. Current, the work is still relevant at the time of assessment. Sufficient, and the work covers all of the requirements at the time. So following facts will help to ensure the assessment has been carried out correctly. So SMART, so it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So specific, the activity relates only to what is being assessed and is clearly stated. Measurable, the activity can be measured against the assessment requirements, allowing any gaps to be identified. Achievable, the activity can be achieved at the right level. Relevant, the activity is suitable and realistic and relates to what is being assessed and give consistent results. And time-bound, which are target dates and times to be agreed. Then you need to plan SMART. Assessment activities will ensure that all the assessment requirements will be met by your learners, providing they have acquired the necessary skills and knowledge beforehand.